Hi, viewers. Welcome to Time with Steven, and I'm your host, Steven, of course. On this platform, we're going to be having conversations from people from all over the world. We get to know them. They're going to share their life experiences with us, their travel experiences, especially with us on this platform. We are going to learn, from all our conversations. I'm currently here with Mali. Mali is from Canada, but she's currently in Denmark. Welcome, Mali, to
Hi
Time with
guys.
Steven.
Hi, so
Hi.
happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this platform. Uh, you are our first guest, and I hope it's going to go as expected. Uh, so to start off, who is Mali? Can you share a little bit about who you are with us?
Yeah, yeah. So my name is Mali. I'm 36 years old. I am originally from Somalia, but I moved to Canada when I was really young. So I consider myself Canadian Somali. But I've been living in Denmark for the past 9 months.
For the past 9 months. Okay,
For the past nine
we're
months.
gonna go back to Somalia,
Okay.
then to Canada, then to Denmark. So
Yes.
let's start off. At what age did you emigrated from Somalia?
So I left. I was about 3 years old when I left Somalia. And
Okay.
then I spent about a year in Egypt, just while I was waiting for my documents and stuff to come through. And then
Mhm.
by the time I got to Canada, I was about 4 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
so really
you
young.
left with a family of how many?
So I actually didn't leave with my parents. I left with my uncle,
Okay.
who was living in Canada at the time. He was a student himself. And so my parents just wanted to afford me the opportunity of, education and what Canada had to offer.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a young man taking care of a young girl in the early 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you left Somalia obviously because of the situation going on around there, right?
So actually,
Oh.
when I left, it
Mhm.
wasn't that bad. It got bad
Oh,
later. So
oh,
when I left, things were still fine, or else my family would have left with me too.
oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
So,
okay. Okay, so you moved to Canada with your uncle,
mhm.
right? And you left your parents back in Somalia.
Yeah, my parents and my siblings back in Somalia. Yeah.
And you how many siblings?
So when I left, it was me, my brother, and my sister. But since then, there's been another four. So there's seven
Oh,
of us in total.
wow. That's a huge
Yeah.
family,
Yeah, no,
typical
very,
African
very
family.
lucky. Yeah. So actually, things got really bad in Somalia. There was a big civil war. It started off in the 80s, it got a little bit better, and then it got worse again in the mid 90s. And so then at that point, my family decided to leave Somalia.
Oh,
And through different channels, my dad made his way to Europe.
mhm.
And he originally settled in Germany, but then he had a friend who was living here in Denmark with his family. And, he said it was a really nice place to live. And so he decided to come to Denmark. And then in the late 90s, he brought the rest of my family over. So my mom and my
Oh,
and my siblings.
okay. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
So three together with you, three of your siblings, you moved to Canada, right?
No, just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Okay. And the
And
rest
my other
moved.
two stayed with my
Mhm.
parents. And then in the late
Okay.
90s, they moved to Denmark with my parents.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Right, I
so
get
very
it.
interesting situation.
Yeah. So tell us, moving to Canada at such a tender age, like, how was the feeling?
uh, I think because I was so young, it was an easy transition.
Okay.
Obviously, I miss my parents and I miss my family at the beginning. And every time I saw an airplane, I was like, where's my mom? Where's my dad? But
Hmm.
as a child, you just adapt to your environment, right? I started going to school, I started learning English, making friends, and yeah, it just became home.
Which part of Canada did you settle in?
So I grew up in Ottawa, Ontario, the capital.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And how was life back there growing up?
It was really fun. So it was the 90s. I
Oh,
feel like the 90s was a cool time to grow up in. Before we had to, like, we were able to play outside with no, like, it wasn't as scary growing up, I guess. We were able to play with no issues. um, I grew up in an area that was very multicultural, so there was people from all walks of life, so I never felt different or out of place.
mhm.
Yeah, it was really, really, it was nice.
Okay. We're gonna come back. You just said something about it wasn't scary. Is that to
Mhm.
say it's currently scary?
I feel
Uh,
like, yeah, I feel like things have changed from the 90s to
really?
now. Yeah, I feel uh,
Wow.
like people didn't have to lock their cars before. We stayed out till, the street lights came on. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, like you trusted your neighbors, whereas now I feel like everybody's more cautious. Crime is a lot higher. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. So starting up in Canada, you went through school. Tell us what sort of school did you go into? Which level?
So when I started off in, like, I guess pre-K or like daycare, just while I
Hmm.
was learning English, just so that I
Okay.
can, learn how to communicate and stuff with people. And then
Yeah.
I went to senior kindergarten all the way to grade 12. So I finished high school, and then I started university at the University of Ottawa. I was taking sociology.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
What really informed your decision to take on sociology? Was it someone's advice, or it was something you really wanted to pursue? Or
uh,
like what really got you into learning sociology?
to be honest, it was just something that my friend wanted to take. So my dream or my goal had been to be a teacher. And
Okay.
at that time, to be a teacher, all you needed was an undergrad. It didn't really matter in which topic, especially if you were doing elementary, right?
Hmm.
And so my friend was taking it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take it with my friend, and then I'll go do my teaching degree after. But then
Hmm.
after my first year, I realized I hated it. So I did take a break from sociology, and then I ended up going into social work, which was a lot
Oh.
more up my alley.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So your first work after graduating, where did you find yourself working after graduation?
Okay, so after I finished my social work, to be honest, it was really hard at the time. So in Ottawa is a very bilingual city. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of French. And
Okay.
I feel like in the types of positions that I wanted,
Hmm.
bilingualism was somewhat important. Ottawa has two major universities and then two colleges. And so it's very competitive. Like everybody's smart, everybody has a degree, everybody is like prepared. And so I found it really hard to get a job there. So I actually moved to Calgary, Alberta in the
Oh.
West, because I just heard that there was more opportunities and more jobs available. So I moved there in 2013, and I didn't do anything in my field. So I didn't actually go into social work. I went into
Oh.
banking at the beginning,
Hmm.
and then I started working for the government. And yeah, I just sort of progressed that way. And then I got into procurement, and that's what I've been doing for the past 5-ish years.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
There is this misconception about Canada that it is really, really cold. Like,
Yeah.
how true? How true is that?
It's very true. It's very true.
Okay.
It can get really cold. Like there's some days where it's like negative 40 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
just the sweat off your face freezes, your eyelashes freeze, your nostrils freeze, everything freezes. But it's just so weird. It's like even though it's that cold, it's your body adapts and it gets used to it. So you just put on layers and you go out. Yeah,
Mm,
there's no such thing as a snow
okay.
day.
So it is actually not a misconception. It is a reality.
It's a very true thing. It's a very true thing. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, growing up without your parents and your siblings, was there any sort of communication, and did you kind of like miss and Were you like going on visits and
Hmm.
stuff? Mhm.
Yeah. So I didn't actually get to see my parents until I was about 16.
Wow.
But before then, obviously, this is before video chat, right? So we would talk
Hmm.
on the phone regularly and just catch up and, checking in on me. And then obviously my
Hmm.
parents had kids along the way, right? And so just keeping in touch with them. But I didn't really have a very strong relationship until I met them in person. So the first time I came to Denmark was in 2003, and
At
it
what
was
age?
I was 16.
16. Oh, okay.
16, yeah. So
2003, yeah.
yeah. And so I was really scared, obviously, because it was like, even though they
Mm,
were my family, they were strangers to me. But
yeah.
yeah, but it was like the second I saw them, we hugged, and it was like I just fit into the family, like I never left.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
So yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's challenging.
Yeah.
No, okay. So 2003, you moved to Denmark. Did you move to stay, or for how long were you
No.
in Denmark? Mhm.
So I didn't move here. I
Okay.
was here for about 6 months.
Oh,
It just gave me a chance to sort of get to know my parents and my siblings and sort of see where they lived. And originally the plan was for me to come and move here, but
mhm.
there was like some issues with the whole family reunification process.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it didn't work out. So then I had to go back to Canada, and then that's when I went back and I finished high school. And yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
So after high school, you moved to visit. Were you like
Yeah.
going back and forth for visits and stuff?
Yes. After that first time that I came, I would come every
Hmm.
summer.
Okay.
For us in Canada, university, your summer vacation is 4 months. So you have the option to take a semester, or you have the option to have it off. So I would spend 4 months here every summer for the next 4 years.
Hmm.
And I used to come visit on Christmas break, and anytime I had a holiday, I was always here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it
Okay.
became sort of my second home.
No, okay. And
Yeah.
your uncle didn't have any kids?
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, yeah. So he ended up getting married, and then he had two kids of his own. So they're like my sibling cousins,
Hmm.
and we grew up together. So
Okay. So
yeah.
you're a Muslim, obviously, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Growing up as a Muslim in Canada, what were the sort of challenges you had to face?
So like I started wearing the hijab, like the headscarf,
Hmm.
when I was 7 years old,
Okay.
and it- because I lived in such a multicultural area, it wasn't strange. There were so many other girls who were also wearing it, so I never
Yeah.
felt different. I never felt weird. But
Hmm.
is when you get older and you're aware of your surroundings, is when you notice sometimes people may look at you differently. And then 9/11 happened in 2001. So that was a really scary time because people were getting harassed and abused because of
Hmm.
visible, you know
Yeah.
representation. And
Hmm.
so it was super scary time. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But as I got older,
Hmm.
I just I grew thicker skin.
Yeah.
I didn't let it affect me as much because I don't know, I really believed in my religion.
Yeah.
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 Hmm.
Nice. Okay. So you are currently in Denmark.
Yes.
What brought you back again to Denmark?
Okay. So the pandemic hit in 2020. Everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
Super, what do you call it? There's like all this isolation, and it was such a hard time for me because I was living by myself at the time. And normally I like being home by myself. I'm a homebody, but 2.5 years of just, you know, it was really, really difficult for me. And it was sort of like also eye opening because it was like life is so short, you know. So I really wanted to just try something different, try something new. And then I also was just like, you know what? I have a whole family in another country. Why not just
Yeah.
try going over there and being close to them and experiencing something new?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I decided in September of 2022
Hmm.
that I was going to come. So then I started preparing and applying for visas and figuring out ways that I can come and stay longer than 90 days.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then I started my visa process. I started looking for jobs while I was in Canada, but
Mhm.
I felt like being here would be better. It would be easier for me to be in Denmark to find a job. But
Yeah.
so I decided to go with the working holiday visa. So as a
Okay.
Canadian, Denmark and Canada have a relationship, and you can stay in Denmark for 12 months. And in those
Wow.
12 months, you can work up to 6 months and you can study up to 6 months. So I was like, okay,
Oh,
that's good. At least that will give me this 1 year, get myself situated, start learning the language. And yeah, and then I applied and I got approved. And I came December 30th of 2022.
so tell us about walk us through the application process for someone who is in Canada right now, a Canadian
Mm-hmm.
who also wants to move to Denmark. Tell us about the process.
Yeah, so at least I can only speak on my experience and the visa that I chose, the
Yeah.
working holiday.
Yeah.
So you can find everything on New in Denmark, the website. So
Hmm.
basically, you have to submit an application, but before you submit the application, you have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. I believe it was
Approximately how much?
20,000 Danish krones, which is, I think,
Oh,
is about 5,000 Canadian dollars.
okay.
And then you had to have insurance for the whole time that you were going to be here. And then you needed to have an address of where you were going to stay.
Hmm.
And I think that's it. And you had to be like a Canadian citizen.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then, yeah, you just had to submit, you had to submit your application. Then they needed to take your biometrics. They took your face scan and a picture, and you submit all the documents. And then, yeah, you get approved by Siri, which is like the Danish government. And once you get approved, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But by the way, for those who are watching and wondering what new in Denmark is, it is actually spelled NYI, right?
Yeah.
NYI, new in Denmark.
Yeah.
NY in
Yeah.
Denmark.com,
I
right?
believe
Or
you,
dot
I,
.de,
Deco. I think you can
dot
also
.deco.
type in NEW, like new in Denmark. If you just Google
Okay.
search it, it'll
If you
bring you
just
to the,
Google. Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Hmm.
So you finally got your application approved to
Yes.
come to Denmark, for the 12-month period.
Yes.
You said you could work, you could also take
Yes.
up education. Education, is it taking up I know in Denmark, yeah, education is free, right?
Yes.
Does that also apply to you as a foreigner moving here?
So for me, I didn't apply for like university or anything like that. I just applied to Danish courses,
Danish
and
course, okay.
yeah. And so when I came to Denmark, I went to International House, which is at least because I'm in Copenhagen in Denmark, and
Hmm.
which is where you can get your CPR application. You can get your tax card and things like that, like all the documents that you need.
Hmm.
And so once I got my CPR card, which is like my identification card slash health card,
Hmm.
I applied to take courses. There's different schools for languages. And I originally went with one where I had to pay 2,300 Danish krones, I think. And it was an online course. Um, I didn't like it very much because it was very self taught. And I feel like Danish is not a self taught language. You need interaction and such. So I
Yeah.
found another program with UC Plus, and
Okay.
this one they required a $2,000 deposit, and once you pass the test, you can get your money back.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I did still have to pay. It wasn't free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so you finally settled in Denmark, hoping
Hmm.
to stay, so you ended up taking the language course.
Hmm.
Um, Tell us, did you were you able to find a job?
No. So I can't even tell you. I applied to so many jobs, but to find the kind of jobs that I want, I'm looking for jobs in an administration. I'm looking for jobs in procurement. I'm looking for jobs in social work. Those types of jobs mainly require you to have the Danish language.
Oh,
And the Danish language is a hard language to learn. And I feel like I'm not learning it fast enough. And while I have the qualifications, without the language, nobody's going to look at my resume. Nobody's going to talk to me. And I do know because I'm in the capital of Denmark, so there is a lot of tourists and there is a lot of English speaking people.
Yeah.
So you can get jobs like at coffee shops and some warehouses and like retail, if that's something that you're looking for, if that's something you're okay doing. But for other type of positions, you need to, I feel like you need to secure those jobs before coming to Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been
Okay.
really, really hard. I can't tell you the amount of rejection letters and emails that I've got
Wow.
from applying. Yeah. But I had been volunteering. I found an
Okay.
organization on Facebook, and it's been a nice way to just interact with other foreigners and locals. So that's a
Oh,
good way to get out and sort of practice your Danish and yeah, keep busy.
yeah. Okay, so let's stay in Denmark for now.
Okay.
So you've experienced both Canada and a bit of Denmark.
Yeah.
What would you say are the differences between these countries, uh, per your experiences?
To be honest with you, I feel like they're very similar. I feel like
Okay.
Denmark and Canada are very close. We also have universal health care. We do
Oh,
pay for education. I know here it is more free, or like there are more resources for people here.
yeah.
But the people are really nice here. The people are nice there. I feel like it's super multicultural here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I feel like they're very similar in terms of the way of living, but here I feel like it's more that European lifestyle. Like
Okay.
everybody's bicycling to work. There's so much greenery. It's very beautiful. And then you also have access to all these other European countries you can travel to, which is something
Hmm.
that was a bonus to me because I do
Yeah.
love to travel. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about traveling, how many countries have you been to so far?
So far this year, only three.
But
I've
in
only
total,
Oh, in total, I want to say almost 20 countries that I've traveled
wow,
to. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
that's quite a
So,
lot.
yeah, I do love to
Yeah.
travel. I like to do one
Okay.
big trip a year.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been lucky.
Okay, so let's go back to the weather issue. Uh,
Yes.
Canada or the Scandinavian countries are also known for their harsh weather, how cold it
Yeah.
is here. Would you say Canada and Denmark, which place is more colder?
Oh, Canada for sure. Here is
Wow.
like this is a walk in the park. I feel like Denmark is such a beautiful weather. I always tell my siblings, I'm just like, you guys have it so nice. It doesn't even hit like for us, yeah, minus
Yeah.
40 compared to minus, I think you guys minus 10 is the lowest you guys get. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So currently, Denmark is touted as like the second happiest country in the
Yes,
world.
I've heard. Yes, yes.
You've lived, quite a few here in Denmark.
Hmm.
Would you really say that statement is true about Denmark? Is it really, are people really happy here?
I would say yes. I don't know if I would say it's the happiest place, but I think in
Hmm.
comparison to some other countries,
Let's
I feel
compare
like
it to Canada.
yes, I feel like
Hmm.
yes, it is very, very nice. I feel like the government really cares about their people. I feel like
Yeah.
there are way more resources available. I feel
Mm.
like, you know, I just love how, parents can take sick days to watch their children, that, mothers can take a long maternity leave. And like
Yeah.
just the fact that post secondary, like paying for university or college is such a stressful thing, and the fact that they consider that and they allow their students to focus on their studies, I think is such a great thing that all countries should implement. Yeah, so I agree definitely. Like if I was comparing the two in way of
Uh,
living, Denmark is
yeah.
definitely higher up in my opinion. Yes.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are your plans in Denmark? Because you're struggling to find a job because you
Hmm.
obviously qualify, you have the experience, all
Hmm.
that, but you're just lacking the basic
The language.
language. So,
Yeah.
what are your plans?
So I actually recently made the decision to move back to Canada.
Oh,
Yeah. So luckily for me, like here, I have my parents, I have my siblings, so I don't really have to stress out about where to live and month to month because
yeah,
my family helps me out. But I'm
yeah,
somebody who's just used to working and sort of making my own way.
yeah.
And yeah, and I feel like I can't do that to the level that I want to. So I've decided to go back to Canada and start working over there and maybe saving up some more and then learning the language from over there and then possibly
Okay.
giving it another try and see if I can find a job here or if I can have like my own business or something like that that allows me to just be able to travel.
Well, guys, you just heard it from Mali. She has all the qualifications. In case you know someone who knows someone, you know,
Holler
yeah,
at
kindly
me.
just reach out. Yeah, let's get her something to do because she has a family here and she really wants to, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, throughout your experiences, right? You've shared basically your life experience with all of us here.
Hmm.
How's your relationship with your siblings now? Who you've reconnected with? How's your
Uh,
relationship?
really good. I feel like this is the closest I've been to any of them in a long time. Just being able to pick up the phone, FaceTime, um, being able to so I live here. My sister lives down the street, so I can see her whenever
Okay.
I want to see. So it's been really really nice. We've been doing more family dinners and get-togethers, and that's something that I haven't been able to do. So it's been nice.
Mm,
Yeah.
great, great.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk more about traveling.
Yeah.
You've been to over 20 countries so far.
Yes.
Um, Tell us what you've learned out of traveling to all these places.
What have I learned?
Yeah. What is one
Uh,
thing you say you've learned from traveling? How has traveling benefited you?
it has been exposing me to different cultures, being more open minded. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just love trying new foods and meeting new people. Yeah, so that's been for me the highlight of traveling.
Okay.
One thing that I think I've learned is don't expect people to always understand you. Just because I speak English doesn't mean everybody in every country is going to understand where I'm coming from. Yeah, so I
No,
have to be patient and I have to be understanding. Yeah.
no, okay. Um, Among these countries, which one
Yeah.
would you say is the most interesting place? Like everyone should be able to see this country. Which among the 20 would you say?
My number one country that I've been
Hmm.
to is Bali.
Bali. Oh,
Bali. Yeah.
okay.
And I know you're thinking it's like a destination vacation,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but it was actually the most fulfilling, the most like I was there for only 5 days, but
Mhm.
the food was amazing, the people were amazing, the activities, like we went on hikes, we went to the beach. I feel like there's something for everybody. If you want to just have a relaxing type of vacation where you just have a book or a drink and chill by the pool, you could do that. But if you want to be more active, you could do that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was I've out
Oh,
of all the countries, it was my number one.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Bali. Thumbs
Bali,
up for you.
top.
Which one would you say was your least favorite?
This might be an unpopular opinion, but for me, it was Cuba.
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 Why is
So I
that?
went I went to Cuba in 2018 with my sisters, and it was not the time of my life. It was really, first of all, it was so hot. And I'm from an African country, so I'm
Yes.
built to handle heat, but the heat was just too much for me. Also, we were the only visible Muslim people, right? And so we're wearing like hijabs and we're very, very modest in dress. So the way people were staring at us made us feel so uncomfortable and so out of place that it was not cool. And then it's also a country that's very like isolated from other countries, so everything is imported. So there wasn't a lot of friendly food options for us. We felt like the food, like there's a lot of pork, and we can't eat pork.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the food wasn't great. The vibes were not great. It was too hot. I didn't like it. So
Mm.
for me, it would be
D-
on the bottom.
yeah. Denmark is also known for eating quite a lot of porks. How are you adjusting?
Yes, but
Yeah.
surprisingly, there's
Mhm.
so much halal options here. Like
Oh.
almost 98% of all chicken in Denmark
Mhm.
is halal. So I can go
Wow.
to McDonald's and I can get a McChicken sandwich, you know? And then
Oh.
there's here in Copenhagen, there's so much like, you know, shawarma and kebab places and
Mhm.
burger places that offer halal options. And then
Okay.
there's so many vegan and vegetarian. Like I feel like this has
Mhm.
been the top. It's been really, really good for food here in Denmark. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, we hope you still continue with your your Danish lessons and hopefully
Yes, yes,
get
yes,
a job
yes.
and relocate back
As long as my
to re
family stays here, like, you know, my
yeah.
siblings, some of them are married and they have jobs and they're
Hmm.
established here in Denmark. So for
Hmm.
sure, I will be coming
Hmm.
back. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So, ever since you left Somalia, have you been back for visits and stuff like that?
No, I have not.
Okay.
My
And
mom is
how
actually
about?
there right now.
Okay.
She's visiting my grandmother, but I just haven't had, I don't know, the opportunity to go yet. I mean, I
Oh,
have the opportunity. I just haven't really had
yeah.
the passion or the need to go yet. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Someday.
But aside Somalia, have you been to any of the African countries?
No, but I have a
Oh,
long list of places I want to go.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
should.
maybe in the next year, 2024, I'm gonna put Africa on the map on my map.
Okay, 2024, I'm gonna get you back
2024.
here on time with Steven
Yes,
to
yes,
see if you've been.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, to wrap up, I'd like to know, just share one key tip or one key, whether financial advice, life experiences, just one key tip you've learned out of your 36 existence on this planet Earth. Just one thing you've learned that you think would be quite helpful or
Hmm.
yeah, to all of our viewers watching us. One thing you've learned about life, one great lesson or one tip you would like to share uh, with the
Okay.
viewers.
Okay. This is something that I'm trying to practice myself.
Mhm.
So, you know, but life is short, you know. And so even though like we plan and we say, okay, you know, when I get to this point in my life, I'm going to do this, or when I get to this point in my life, I'm going to do that. Don't do
Mhm.
that. Like, because you never know if you're going to reach that point. If you want to do something, do it now. Start it tomorrow. Make it happen. If you want to go on that trip, if you want to start that business, if you want to go back to school, like whatever it is you want to do, just do it now. Like now is the perfect time. Yeah. Like don't wait for anything. Don't wait for anybody. Just do what you got to do.
Just do it, just like
Just
life.
do it.
Just
Yeah,
do
just
it.
exactly.
Mali, it's been great having you on this platform. Yeah, it's been a really interesting conversation. We've learned quite a lot from you, and we actually hope the best in future for you. Uh, I'm here looking forward for you to returning back to Denmark so we could connect again. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be your first guest, and I'm excited to
Yeah.
see where your journey takes you. I'm excited to see where you take your channel and your, you know, and yeah, well, maybe we can connect when I come back and you know see where we're at. Hopefully, more
Yeah.
countries have been traveled to, and more Danish has been learned.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Viewers, we just spoke with Mali um, from Canada, but she's currently here in Denmark and she's relocating back again to Denmark due to one or two reasons. You could hear in the interview, she shared the challenges she's going through, finding job, etc. Yeah. To be on this platform, It is quite easy. I'm gonna share the details in the descriptions below. You just have to hit me on a WhatsApp number if you want to come on this platform and share your experiences with us. Just hit me up on the number in the description below, and we're gonna set a time and a date to have our interview. Thanks once again for our guest Mali in Denmark. Catch you on the next interview with Time with Steven. It's bye from here.